Hi guys, this is Henry Pip again with another review. This is Magus from the Infinity War storyline, and I've been wanting to do a review on this guy for a very long time, but the reason I didn't do it was because of my own fault. Because he broke off his ponytail here. I still have to glue that back, but I didn't want to wait anymore to do this review, so I decided to do it anyway, and I will glue it back later on. Yeah, so this is the Magus, and the Infinity Wars, saga was the follow-up to the Infinity Gauntlet saga, and it featured just about every major comic book, hero, and even some villains that were important, to the Marvel Universe back then. It was drawn by Ron Lim, and I believe it was written by Jim Starlin. A very, very good storyline. Not as good as Infinity Gauntlet, but it was good anyway. I loved it. I still enjoyed, the book itself, and I wanted this piece very badly. Sorry, that's my cat. I wanted the book very badly, the statue very badly, because it is very, a very good representation of the character itself. It has been criticized a lot for being, too bland, or not being because I believe that in the original comics, the original, the 60s or 70s comics, he used to have an afro. I was not aware of that, until recently, until I Googled it, but I didn't know that. So the Magus character has been around for a while, but he has been reintroduced with the Infinity War saga. I think that's the correct history behind the character. But I would not have bought him if he had an afro. I mean, you can't take a purple guy with, you can't take a purple guy serious, but a purple guy with an afro, yeah, no, that's not gonna work. But back to the statue. It's been done by, it's a K-Bros statue, the Kucharek Brothers. Made in 2011 as a website exclusive, I believe, because it has a very low number on it. Oh, let me just try to pick it up. It's a very light statue. It's 184 of 500. It's a very light statue. Doesn't have a lot of weight to it. The skulls themselves, the base itself is very light. I do like the fact that this is a glow-in-the-dark base. The skulls themselves are really reminiscent of the base that Thanos is on, and I really like that fact because, of course, they both held the Infinity Gauntlet, and I think that the detailing on the statue is done very well. The smirk in his face, very confident smirk. And yes, I know it looks horrible that I broke the hair off. I'm sorry. But anyways, looking past that, it's a very basic sculpt. The musculature of the character isn't that very well defined. But that's for a reason. And I will show you that in a moment. He has the thunderbolt on his chest. And I believe, and I hope I'm telling this right, but he is a representation of the darker side, of the personality of Adam Warlock, and the costume itself represents the old Adam Warlock incarnation or look. He sported back in the 70s or something, or 60s, with the thunderbolt on his chest. I have the more modern Warlock. But you can see the similarities. So the statue itself is also wielding the Infinity Gauntlet, done very well. Very reminiscent of the Thanos, or first Thanos, that has the Infinity Gauntlet as well. I like it. The coloring is done very well on it, and on the glove itself, and on the sculpture itself, it's very comic book accurate. I mean, you can look at the depiction here in the comic book, and you can see that Kang and Dr. Doom are both attacking the Magus because he was that big a threat that those two enemies had to unite and fight him and use all their technology, but they were no match. I believe. So yeah, this is a very decent statue. It's not the best out there, but it's the Magus. You couldn't have done anything more with it, in my opinion. I mean, this is the character, and this is what it represents, and it does what it does, and it does what it needs to do. But what I did want to show you guys is a quick comparison between my Adam Warlock and Magus statue, both done by the Kucharek Brothers, separated by 5 years though, and you can see the difference. I mean, this is a very heavy statue, not only because of the cape, but also because of the base itself. The base is very heavy on this one, being very light on this one. The similarities are there. The belt, the wristbands, the pose itself, has some similarities. It looks like it's a mirrored kind of mold, but I think there's a height difference between the two because Adam Warlock is, as you can see, a bit taller. But all in all, they're very, very much alike, and I like that fact. They're two sides of the same coin. In the comic book, their history is very well intertwined, and you can see it here. I'd love to put them next to each other in my setup. As soon as I have the space, that would be a very ideal setup. I'd probably put Mr. Death, Thanos, Warlock, and Magus in one cabinet, and that would totally rock. I mean, I'm looking forward to putting those two together. So yeah, moving back, and I'm going to put Adam to the side. Paint job. The paint application is very clean. Shading is done very well. He's got different shades of purple in his legs to accentuate the fact that these are muscles, to differentiate all the different parts of his legs. The boots are very neatly done, neatly sculpted. The paint job is very clean. No errors in painting or whatever. So I like the paint job itself. The coloring is done very well. I totally recognize that this was the Magus, and that's of course what the statue needs to do. The sculpt itself done very well. Not very spectacular, but as I said, you cannot embellish anymore on a character like this because he is what he is. My only minor gripe I have is that the face sculpt itself, could have been done a bit better. It isn't horrible. I mean, the hair is done very well, and what's left of the hair here, but it's a fairly basic sculpt, and if you look at the menacing pose that he has right there, it's a very different kind of look. It's more menacing, and here it's more of a simple smirk. They could have done more with it, but I'm not complaining about that too much because I like the statue. It's a very good statue. It's a very underrated piece. It's going on it cheap, so if you can buy it, and if you're a fan of the Infinity War saga, I would definitely pick it up. I would rate this a 7 out of 10.